If you've been following the channel for a while now, you guys know that I love PrizePicks. Hands down, the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action. Whether that's the NFL, NBA, college football, whatever, PrizePicks is the way to go. And here's how it works. Pick 2 to 6 players, predict if they'll go for more or less than their projected stats, and you're in. It's you versus the numbers, just simple and fun. And PrizePicks hooked you guys up with an incredible deal. Play $5 in lineups, get $50 instantly, win or lose. That's $50, no strings attached, and it's just one of their incredible offers. Every Friday is Flex Friday, where you get a protected play, win or you get your cash back. Plus, don't forget about Taco Tuesday, where you'll find discounted projections all day long. So if you want to play PrizePicks just like millions of people across the country, click the link in the description, use code DOUBLEMOVE, and start making your picks today. Don't miss out on the action or the deals. The Cowboys season, for me at least, has pretty much come to a close. No playoffs, and at this point, I'm just really waiting to see how much fight this team has left and where they end up in the draft order. So, in today's video, I want to discuss who the Cowboys should keep, consider, or just move on from that is a free agent in 2025. I'm going to put these guys into 3 groups. Keep. Yes, I want to re-sign them. Consider, maybe if the price and situation is right, I would consider bringing them back. And then the third and final one is just move on. Let these guys walk in free agency. I'm not interested in re-signing them. So let's start with the yeses. First up, we have Jordan Lewis, who I've talked about all offseason long, being one of the Cowboys' best defensive players of the year. Now, he is starting to get a bit older, but that doesn't really concern me if Dallas could get him back on a 2 to 3 year deal, making a good bit of money as well as he's played in the slot this year. I think honestly, he played at an all-pro level, and it would have been recognized more if the Cowboys weren't so bad defensively earlier in the year, and then, of course, Dak got hurt, so the talk around Jordan Lewis just hasn't been enough. But he is somebody that I would say yes to re-signing and bringing back in 2025. I think you're going to need him with the Trayvon Diggs injury. Then I have CJ Goodwin. CJ Goodwin has been a core special teamer here for as long as I can remember. He's also getting up there in age. I think he's like 33, 34 years old. And sure, he's not a necessity, but he's also not making that much money. He's on the books for like $1.3 million this year. He's actually almost 35 years old. So maybe this isn't one that you 100% have to keep around, but is a name that I would like to bring back. Our next name on this list is Chuma Edoga, who got hurt early in training camp and didn't get to play for most of the season, but has gotten to play more as Tyler Guyton's gone in and out of the lineup, and I don't think he's actually been that bad this year. Is he an all-pro left tackle? Is he even really an average left tackle? Maybe, but I wouldn't let Chuma Edoga walk if the price is right. I would bring him back, let him be the swing tackle. Tyler Guyton is at left tackle. Terrence Steele at right tackle. Chuma Edoga can also play some guard for you. I think the versatility, the veteran experience is a name worth keeping around. Then we have Osa Odigizua, who didn't have a great start to the 2024 season, has had good years leading up to this one, but has probably made himself a ton of money over the past 2 months of the season. He has been one of the most disruptive defensive tackles in the game, especially since Micah Parsons got back. Osa is 100% a name I would sign to a deal, pay him some good money. He could probably be a little bit better against the run, but for a team that's so down bad on defensive tackle, Osa Odigizua is a name you just got to bring back. Then you have Rico Dowdle, who I'm really high on. Everybody feels like when somebody says they want to bring back Rico, that means that they don't want to draft a running back. No. Rico's not stopping me from drafting a running back, but he is somebody that I would be interested in pairing with a young back in this draft. Has he been a big play machine? Has he ripped off 40, 50, 60-yard runs? No, but he has been solid, and he's proven that he could be a decent to good backup running back, and that's exactly what I would bring him back for. I think there are going to be other teams interested around the league, so I would bring back Rico Dowdle. And then you have Chauncey Golston, another defensive tackle / defensive end, whatever the Cowboys have needed him to do this year. Chauncey Golston has played well. When the entire defensive line was hurt, Golston was really the only guy showing up week in and week out. I don't think the price tag is going to be that high. One website was saying that he was going to be a $5 to $6 million player. I don't really know, but Golston is someone worth having on this team. Brock Hoffman, not quite the same as some of these other guys. I think Hoffman is a restricted free agent, meaning that he's not just going to be free game for any team to sign this offseason. But Hoffman, over the past couple of weeks with Zach Martin not playing, going on season-ending IR, maybe ending his career, Hoffman's actually played extremely well. Sure, the opponents haven't, been up to par or, even average teams, but I think Hoffman's kind of shown some things when he gets in there, and I think at the worst, he is a slightly below average to average guard. I would be interested in bringing back Brock Hoffman. Another restricted free agent is Kevontae Turpin. Why would you not want to bring back one of, if not the best kick returner, punt returner in the NFL? Regardless if John Fossil is back on this coaching staff, Kevontae Turpin needs to be made a priority. I made a video about this. You don't get rid of players that can rip off big plays, help field position, and maybe do a little bit of stuff as a receiver / gadget player. Kevontae Turpin needs to be a priority as well. And these last two guys are not absolutes. You got to bring them back or it's a life or death situation, but I have Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas, two players that I don't really think have gotten a fair shot with Mike Zimmer and even Dan Quinn at certain points. Marquise Bell was thrown in there to play linebacker because everybody else was hurt. Sure, he had his ups and downs. He was 220 pounds playing linebacker, but I think with Donovan Wilson on the last year of his contract, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas, those are two guys that I would want back here in 2025. Now let's get into the maybes section. Here, let's start with Israel Mukuamu, somebody that hasn't gotten a chance to really play for this defense, whether that's with Dan Quinn or Mike Zimmer. When Mukuamu did get to play, I believe in 2022, he actually had a really good game against Tom Brady and the Bucs, but after that, we just never really saw him, and I thought that he was maybe in the Dan Quinn doghouse, but even with Mike Zimmer, he just hasn't got out there on the field. Another maybe for me is Cooper Rush. Now, I don't know what his market's going to look like. I think Dallas gave him like a 2-year, $4 million deal. I doubt any team out there is going to turn around and give him a gigantic contract. He's not going to be a starter anywhere. I put him as a maybe, and I do like having him as a backup quarterback. But if some team wants to go pay Cooper Rush $8 to $10 million a year, I'm out. Another maybe is Brian Anger. Odd to see the punter here, but I'm not a big fan of paying punters. I think Dallas overpaid Brian Anger a couple of years ago with John Fossil. He really liked Anger, but punters just really shouldn't be making a whole lot of money. The difference between the best punter in the league and the 18th ranked punter in the league is like a yard and a half. If you can get him back on a pretty good deal, I wouldn't see any reason to not bring him back, but I wouldn't go out and pay him top 5 punter money. My last 3 names on this list might surprise some people. Let's start with Eric Kendricks as a maybe. He's definitely had his ups and downs. Dallas signed him for an extremely team-friendly deal. He actually flipped from, I believe, San Francisco to Dallas because of Mike Zimmer. And throughout the year, he's been okay at certain points. He's had some really low moments. He's had some really great moments. The problem I have with Eric Kendricks is at the linebacker position, I don't think Kendricks has it physically anymore. Mentally, I do think he does. If Dallas can get him for another team-friendly deal as sort of a mentor, the linebacker room being so thin right now with the overshown injury, having young guys like Maris Leofau, stuff like that, I would be interested in bringing him back, but I'm not sure what the price tag will look like. Then I have Trey Lance, which you're paying him $5 million this year to be the third quarterback, technically the second quarterback now, but Trey Lance is another maybe. I'm not sure what the league really thinks of him. I couldn't imagine somebody giving him more than $3 million to be a backup quarterback, to come into camp, see if they can develop him a little bit. I think my stipulation is, if you bring back Cooper Rush, don't bring back Trey Lance. You don't need $8 to $10 million tied up in your backup quarterback when your first string quarterback is making $60 million per year, and that's kind of why Lance Lawrence and Rush find themselves in this maybe category. And my final maybe is DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, we didn't get to see a whole lot of him this year. He got hurt in week 4, I believe, against the New York Giants. Didn't play for the rest of the season. And I know people have had their faults with DeMarcus Lawrence over the years because he doesn't rack up the sack numbers of Micah Parsons or TJ Watt. He doesn't live up to those names in the box score. But this defense is a lot better at stopping the run when DeMarcus Lawrence is in there. Another guy that's getting up there in age, starting to, decline physically a little bit, still has the game mentally. I put him in the maybe category because of what his market might look like as well. Maybe he takes a hometown discount to stay with Dallas, finish his career out here, then I would be interested. But if some team is going to take a flyer, a boom or bust prospect in free agency, I'm out, let him walk. And now, maybe the most controversial part of this entire video, let's talk about the nose. This name probably isn't going to surprise you, but Ezekiel Elliott, it's time to move on. I don't know why he's back here. I don't, hate the person, Ezekiel Elliott, but the idea of bringing back a running back that has literally declined every single year, and this trend is continuing this year. Why was he ever brought back here? I don't know. It's a no from me. You guys let me know down below in the comments, but a shocking name I put on this list is Zach Martin. Hey, and don't get mad at me. My name's Zach too. I have nothing against the Zachs of the world out there, but he wasn't good this year. That's the reality. I know he's an all-pro. I know he has more Pro Bowls than he has holding calls in his career. He just wasn't good this year, and he gradually got worse. Then he had the injury, and then once Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass and other younger guys got in there, maybe, of course, they're not the player that Zach Martin once was in his career, not even 50%, but I think there's a chance that Martin is kind of slowing the progress of other guys that you're going to need step in 2026 if Martin were to come back. He might not. Might just retire. You don't have to make that decision. And our final 2 names to round out this list is Brandon Cooks. His contract, after Dallas traded a 5th-round pick for him, his contract is out this year. I wouldn't be interested in bringing back Brandon Cooks. I know he had a pretty good year in 2023. Had the injury in week 4, much like everybody else on this team against the Giants. Didn't come back till later in the season. But much like I just talked about with Zach Martin, he might be slowing the progress of other receivers that you might want to sign in free agency or younger guys that you have right now, like Zach Martin, like Ezekiel Elliott, DeMarcus Lawrence. Those guys starting to get up there in age. Physically, he's starting to decline a little bit, and I just wouldn't be interested in bringing him back. And this last name, I'm not even going to explain because I'm already, 12, 13 minutes into this video, but it's Linval Joseph. He's like 37 years old. That's really all I got to say. So let me know who you agree and disagree with on this list. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.